Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another session of Kollective Konversations. I'm Cynthia Beard. I'm so glad you joined us today. Kollective Konversations is our weekly roundtable where we come together every week for an hour to connect, share, and grow through meaningful discussions that bridge life, work, and community together. Today we have two very special guests join us. Miss Larshella Murphy, who is a wife, mother, entrepreneur, and a nurse. We also have Miss Elaina Hurley, who is a state-certified PRSS and a community advocate and activist. We also have today joining us Ms. Marguerite Lawson and Ms. Eldra McCrae. How are you ladies doing today?
Doing good, thank you.
Good. Okay. And today our topic will be domestic violence. And I'd like you to go ahead and get into that a little bit. What could you tell us?
Okay. Again, my name is Larshella Murphy. So I brought out the topic of domestic violence because it is very silent in our community.
Right. Absolutely.
A lot of people are nervous, they're scared, but they also do not realize that there is help out there, for each other to be able to, especially if you have children.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know the accountability that it takes on not just a woman, but it takes on a man, that it also and most definitely takes on the children.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to stop staying so silent about this in particular topic and get it out there.
And the silence come from years and years. It's
Yes.
not a process like today.
Right.
I could say, but just say my mom or my dad. A male can be abusive as well as a
Exactly.
female.
Right.
And so you're saying that that's a good thing to say because it's really really quiet
Right.
and it's really sad
It is.
because a lot of what women go through
Mhm.
in that situation.
Yes.
And we just continue to pray for them and just all the support like you bringing to us. That support that people need to out there watching today,
Right.
and they can continue to watch it over and over again until they get the message themselves.
Right.
A lot of people we know, been in that, and I had a sister, but we just appreciate all the information that you can leave us
Right.
when you leave here. Leave us the information so we can grow. That's the main thing.
We got to educate ourselves.
I'm gonna get educated when we growing.
Right. Right. That was the biggest thing. So what I did was it's something that's been very true to my heart for many, 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 many years. And I always had the idea of like, okay, well, it's October again. It's domestic violence awareness, but nobody's saying anything. So finally, I came across and I was like, because I said I will do Rise Up Queens.
Oh, that's great.
So I decided to put together a nonprofit organization.
Wow,
Rise Up Queens stands for Right Initiative Saves Every Unified Person.
that's neat.
And with that being said, I'm what you would say like not the normal person. I will talk about taboo subjects. And so with that, a main taboo subject is domestic violence.
Yes, yes.
So I thought, I thought about it and I was like, well, who can I get? And God placed it on my heart and he was like, Miss Elaina Hurley.
Wow.
So she just so happened to call me
That's
and I was
wonderful.
like, this is perfect. I said, it's time to go. It's just time to talk about it.
Is Rise Up Queen, is that a book?
No, ma'am.
That's just you would have forms or you would have papers?
It is more so, like I said, it's just a nonprofit organization to try to get women together.
Right.
To do different things, to see different things. Like I said, to speak about taboo topics such as this.
And it's hard in different areas. It's hard to get this out
It is.
because, once again, the secret of hiding abuse.
Right.
And even though your baby's going through that. So
Right.
you put your baby on the line
There we go.
as you choose for yourself and not for your babies.
That's right.
So we just, we're just glad we get awareness of what we can do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it's not nothing but pass out of paper.
Right.
A lot of times it's the communication is real bad.
Right.
And I've said before, we have to have a form and put it right in their hand. Their hand should be their bond
Right.
about something like this.
Yeah.
And I said minister, preachers, wives and things. Can you imagine what goes on in their past?
Oh yeah, yeah.
But see, and that's really big because you're saying these are powerful people,
Mm-hmm.
and this stuff is happening,
Right.
and you're not even saying nothing.
Right.
So we're gonna build somebody up, and we build down.
Right.
We don't get off.
That's for me personally, like I said, that is one of the biggest things. You know, we're always so quick, myself included, are so quick to talk about what you've been through or what you're going through. But nobody's quick enough to be like, hey, here's my hand. Let me reach out to you.
Right.
Let me help you. Do you need some assistance? A lot of people don't realize that 1 in every 3 women are in domestic violence situations.
Right.
As far as domestic violence go, a lot of people think that it's just the physical aspect of it. They don't realize that it is 6 different aspects. There is the physical, there is the verbal, there is financial. You know, so a lot of times when men and or women are in those positions of the violence, they don't have the financial means to leave.
That's right.
A lot of people don't realize that it takes the abused person 7 times before they finally leave. And the biggest question that people always say is, why didn't you just leave when it happened the first time?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
It don't work that way.
It is not easy.
And some people fail to realize when a woman leaves, that's when she's most in danger or at risk
Right.
for having her life taken.
Because 9 times out of 10, they'll go back.
Right.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
You know, that the psychological aspect of it, of, you know, well, he said he'll never do it again.
Right.
Oh, but he told me he left me.
Right.
Of course.
Oh, but what about my children?
Yeah.
Well, I can't break up this home because I want my kids to live in a perfect atmosphere.
Right. They keep
Perfect.
the family unit together.
Exactly.
And the male, you know, I ain't mean to cut you off, but the male kids in the family, like, you know, sisters and brothers, then that boy, he grows up and he do the same thing.
The same.
Because it's like, I'm supposed to do this.
Right.
Mhm.
It's a learned behavior.
It's a
learned behavior.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But it's like,
And the
you know,
women, your daughters think, hey, this is how I'm supposed to be treated.
It's normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
that's
becomes-
and that's what's so sad, you know,
Desensitized
because
to it.
then they need help. Then you're
Mhm.
gonna have to get some kind of help as they get older.
Right.
And that's so sad.
It is. With the children in particularly,
Mhm.
if you notice that a kid went from straight A's and B's and they were very well mannered, you know, very respectable, then all of a sudden you start to see their grades slip. You know, they start to act a little bit different. You know, they where they used to say yes ma'am, no ma'am, all of a sudden it's what?
Right.
Huh? What? You know,
that's true.
those are signs that, you know, most of us don't pay attention to.
Yes.
Even with them falling asleep in class and stuff like that, because they feel like now I can sleep. This is my safety.
They feel
place.
safe.
Right,
Right.
right, that safety net. And even, like I said, even though it's not just women, it's men too, because people don't realize that it's 1 in every 4 men
Experience it as well.
that experience it.
Mhm.
But again, it's not just the physical, it's not just the emotional,
Right.
it's also sexual.
Right.
Yes.
You know, so with the children, there every 9 minutes there's a child that's being sexually abused.
So sad.
You know, but nobody reaches out. Everybody talks about it.
I
But
think because of the people afraid to get deep in it. I like y'all gonna follow me home. Y'all gonna kill my kids or kill me. You know, I'm just saying that for instance.
that is
And that
fear.
first goes, and then the man always threaten that woman.
Mm-hmm.
You go somewhere, I'm gonna do your whole family.
Right.
You know.
And you have some women that, you know, a kid that comes to a parent, you know, even though the parent realizes that the father is abusive or whatever, the kid comes to him and lets him know that there's other abuse going on, and there's lots of mothers that still fail to, you know what I'm saying, believe the child,
Right.
to support the child.
Right. That's still trying to keep that.
And that's sexual too, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's most quiet with the dad and
Yeah.
the kids.
Right.
Even the boys get.
And like I said, that's the secret. You know, there's so many families out here that knows that quote unquote Uncle John
Yes.
was touching her, or
Right.
it went from her to the brother, or it went from the brother to the cousin, and nobody speaks up and nobody says anything. And a lot of that does come from fear.
Yeah.
Because if you tell, you know, then
Yeah.
it's gonna be some problems.
And it's also embarrassment.
Yeah.
You know, I
embarrassment.
don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want people to know what stays at home, what happens at home stays at home.
Right.
Right.
I mean, in all honesty, that's the way we were all raised.
Yeah.
Right.
What happens at home
Stays
stays
at
at
home.
Right.
And it's hard to break that generational curse.
Right.
They don't know how, because that's how they were raised, well, I seen this, it hasn't changed, and they keep on letting it just go.
Right, because they don't know no
They
better.
don't know. Then you got where the kids in the home, and this is happening, and then they'll start bothering their sister. The son will bother their sister,
Right.
Because this is what I know.
Right.
This is what I seen.
Mhm.
Right.
I'm not gonna
happen.
and they'll probably hit that little girl to say, this
Right.
Yeah.
May not say nothing.
to
Yeah.
overpower them.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's so
It's
sad.
it kind of becomes normalized in the home.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
normal.
That's
And
right.
especially in the Black culture,
Oh, yeah.
when my dad was coming up, his mother, and we're talking about, my dad was born in 1939, and then my grandmother, I don't know when she was born, but years prior to that. So, the Black culture has been for the longest time that one, it's taboo.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in the house stays in the house. And then we were not very receptive to outside help or mental help, which
Right.
stems all the way back because there wasn't any help for
That's
us.
right.
Right.
And
So
from them
we-
either.
right, so we lived without
Kind of
help.
conditioned to
in
not seek help.
conditions,
Right.
that was, that was part of the systemic race. That was part of racism.
Right.
We
Yeah.
didn't receive the mental health care, the doctor care.
Right.
So
Just the medical care.
that was the way that Blacks lived,
And that's
and
culture.
and it's cultural.
Yes,
So
right.
even
Cultural.
today, especially in our rural Black communities, such as here in Beckley, you don't talk about it.
Right.
Once again, what's happens at home stays at home. Mental health or seeing the therapist, that's just what white folks do. It's not a white, a black, a brown, or a
Right,
yellow thing. It's a human thing,
Absolutely.
and so hopefully, bringing awareness
Mhm.
will bring about it is okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's okay to receive
And then you
seek-
got, like
seek
you
help.
said again, but then you have back in the days that the secret.
Mhm.
But then now, as we get older, like now, and y'all younger, but pride
Right.
sets in.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
And pride, and you don't want to tell somebody beat me.
Right.
You don't want to tell them he touched my baby, he hit my baby.
Right.
And because of being afraid,
Mhm.
still we got that pride and we got that afraid combined.
And a lot of times this abuse, the perpetrator is conditioning you to believe it's all your fault.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Right.
then there comes the guilt with all this stuff that's happening. You're internalizing that I caused this. I did something wrong.
Right.
If I would have just made dinner sooner. If I would have just added a little extra seasoning to, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
Those things.
Right.
That, you're walking around eggshells because in your mind you convinced yourself it's your fault. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's a strategy by the abuser.
Right.
It's power.
Yes,
Right.
because it's really about power and control,
Power and
ultimately.
control.
And the abuse is the byproduct of the power and control.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't realize that in the beginning, it doesn't just start off as, hey, I'm gonna wake up today and, it's about to be an abusive day. I'm about to, what I'm saying, I'm going to hit you today. And, because like you said, Cynthia, it is more so of if I would have just did this
Yes, or done
sooner.
that to please them. Yes.
But people don't take into consideration the psychological and the mental.
Because most of the time, the psychological abuse is going on way before they ever hit you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
everything will look perfectly fine in the beginning.
Right. But
You
actually,
know
they
what-
love bomb you. They love bomb you.
Exactly.
They suck you in. They
Exactly.
lure you in. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They make you think you're the most special person in the world or whatever. Then they start conditioning you along the way.
Exactly.
And then next thing you know, when they know they have you where they need you, and also when they've kind of depleted your resources, cutting off relatives, cutting off
Yes.
your social support system,
Mhm.
cutting off, your finances or whatever. So when they get you in that position, when they got you where they need you, and they know you need them, that's
Uh-huh.
usually when the physical aspect kicks
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
But that's your program.
That's why you started your
Program.
program.
Yes.
I see you. I mean, I'm just saying. I see you. Look, you know what I'm saying, and I'm sure it's good, and we need it to carry it out.
Right.
You know, we always we'll be in secret because if we don't do our job,
Right.
Right.
like saying, "Hey, I know about this.
Right.
We've
Right.
been there,"
Mhm.
Right.
and so it's not just walking off of this situation, but I know you have some papers that you might can help us
Yes.
to pass them out
So yes, ma'am, definitely. So what I did, like I said, this is something that's been near and dear to my heart for so long. Because me personally, I am a domestic violence survivor.
Me as well.
So you know what I mean. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. This ain't just coming off the top of my head. It's coming off of my head because I'm experienced.
right.
You know.
So like I said, because of that, I decided to come up with this event that I will be doing on Sunday. And it's domestic violence warriors. See, I don't want to say that nobody is necessarily, oh, you're a victim.
We're survivors.
We are survivors.
Yeah.
We are warriors.
Right.
Because ultimately, nobody understands unless you walk the mile in that shoe what it takes to be able to leave.
Right.
So like I said, because of that, I did put together a event that's happening this Sunday. It starts at 2:30. And it's called No Longer Suffering in Silence. It will be held at the women's, what is it, the Women's Club?
The Women's Club.
Yes.
Where's the women's club located?
It's 202 Park Avenue. It's
that
across
up
the
about
road by Park Avenue.
Okay.
Middle school. Yeah, middle school. So yeah, you know, and I have put this, it's on Facebook. We have shared it. I have flyers out at stores. I have flyers out with personal people. I have talked to people just to let them know that, hey, you don't have to necessarily say anything, but I want you to come and be receptive to the information that we have to give. We do have speakers that are going to give some of their own testimonies.
Amen.
We do have a therapist that is coming to help speak on and help teach on the lasting aspects. The lasting aspects, because like I said, people don't realize what the strength and the courage and the prayers that it takes to leave.
Right.
Yes.
The lasting effects that it leaves on your children.
Yes.
Right.
So because like I said, we're all quick to talk about, oh, well, you're over here such and such, such and such, but you're not quick to say, hey, what can I do to assist you?
Right.
Right.
People, you know, the resources that are out here, even if you can't get into, and it's no longer called the women's shelter, but it's now called the Away.
Right. Yeah. Away.
Away.
Away is formerly the Women's Resource Center.
Oh, really?
And it is now called Away, and it's under the director of, excuse me, the executive director, Regina Thomas, who will be one of
Who
our
will
guest
also be there.
speakers on Sunday at the event.
That's
Yes.
fabulous. They do great things for the community. And I'm
Yes,
sure,
that's good.
I would love to know what the numbers are of how many people they've actually served and serviced. Because I stayed there when my family did when I was only 5 years old. This was probably about 6 months. And they helped to relocate us somewhere else or whatever. And I just remember, you know, it was a very structured and community environment
Right.
that was very supportive, you know what I'm saying, of the women there. And they tried to create like a support system to where like all the women there felt like it was community. They cooked together, they cleaned together, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful resource in the community.
But then again, you said that they can still go back home.
Like
I mean, I'm just
they-
saying that.
And a lot of times they do. I did.
Oh, I know.
I went back.
did,
I
yeah.
stayed at the women's shelter as well
Wow.
with my children, but I went back. I went. You know, you go back, and you know, you should never. No individual, man or woman, should ever have to feel as though this is my last option.
Right.
You know, like Cynthia said, you know, they'll get to the point to where they love bomb you. All of a sudden, where you was talking to your sister every day, you talk to your sister once a week,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, you might go and be active in the community and be able to, you know, go out and, you know, just have fun to where all of a sudden now you don't do nothing.
So
You're
is
at home.
it, I'm just, for instance, is any of these places set up like different places? Like what you do? Do they have, is any place, you know, I'm just saying like.
You mean like the safe shelters?
Yeah, I'm just saying that because like, only one I know is like, I don't know them, but the one was in Raleigh or somewhere.
The Away,
Mhm.
the Away is,
Oh, this is moved.
was it Whitesville? Is that, where is that?
Wow, it's one here.
There's one here.
Yeah,
There-
over here.
There's a safe shelter here in Raleigh County. I believe that's Raleigh County. Like you're going out the 4-lane, and I think it's Whitesville.
Okay.
And actually, there are only 13 women and family violence shelters in the state of West Virginia. Okay, now there's approximately about 18 organizations that provide information and resources for people experience domestic violence and sexual assault. And so that's not very many when you think about what our population is.
Right.
So there's 13 shelters in the state of West Virginia, which are not very many, considering that 39.4% of women in West Virginia, will experience intimate partner physical violence or sexual violence or stalking in their lifetime.
Yes.
And 47.5% of women in the state of West Virginia will experience rape or attempted rape in an intimate partner in their lifetime.
Yes.
And those statistics are pretty high.
So I'm thinking I don't know if you got a booklet or something that can be put out. We can make them 10 sheets with stuff on it.
Okay.
Pictures, faces, what's
Maybe some of the
It's
risk
relevant.
factors, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's, because what I'm saying is maybe they can just sit here in the office.
Right.
And somebody pick it up.
DHHR has a book and it has like all kind of resources,
Wow.
domestic violence,
Right.
homelessness, well,
Right.
since we don't have the shelter anymore, but they have
Right.
a thing to tell you like if you can get with domestic violence,
Right.
all kinds of things
Okay.
that you
That's
can
good.
go through. And they have for resources and things.
With
like
that, I wanted to touch a little bit back because you were giving some statistics.
Mhm.
So we were talking about that's in West Virginia. In Raleigh County alone, there was 478 emergency protective orders filed at the magistrate court.
Wow.
358 domestic violence cases alone were heard in family court.
Wow.
You have 432 domestic violent related civil filings in the civil court. Directly to the police department. You know, they have dedicated themselves to be able to help.
That's good.
So again, you know, with that being said, there are resources out here, but unless we open up, talk about it,
Right.
nobody's going to know
No.
because you get to that part of I have no help.
Right.
Yes. But I know you're putting a lot of stuff out, and we need to learn more about it.
Right.
But we still stuck. I mean, I'm not saying it to just
No,
you know,
right,
I'm
right.
saying it because we still see it. We know it can happen. We know it happens every day, and still, it's like you might have a friend, and you're like, I can't help you. You wore out. Because you listen to she venting all her stories, and at the end of the day, it wears on you.
Right.
It breaks you down.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, what can I do? Still, we back to safety.
Right.
You can talk about the safety part because I know you.
As far as the safety portion of it goes, like I said, you kind of get ostracized, but calling and just asking, hey, can you come pick me up?
Yeah, I understand.
Like you said, you'll talk about what's going on to your friend or, maybe a family member,
most definitely.
but offer to go help as far as let me pick you up,
Right.
let me take you. Even if you can't do nothing but offer your couch
Right, I understand.
Right.
for maybe a day or two,
Mhm.
a lot of people, are still renting. And so there's so many rules that goes with that. You can only have somebody stay with you for 2 weeks and maybe, I think it's still 2 weeks. But that's it.
If you're on like
Right.
low income housing.
But
right.
in that 2 weeks time spent, there can be a lot of things that you can do.
Mhm.
Help them.
Right. Encourage them. Right.
To develop a safety plan.
Exactly.
Or how to get out.
exactly.
Right. Even if they have to up and relocate.
Right.
A lot of times that's hard because you don't want to take your children away from their friends. The only school that they know, but reach out. You can help that person just by talking about it. A lot of times, like you said, just that listening ear
Right.
helps a lot.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
most definitely.
Right. Silence is compliance. So I'm a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. Took me many years to heal to become a survivor. So for anybody out there listening or watching, if you do not believe or feel like you are a survivor, there is healing. And I believe that's what Shelly's wanting to do with her nonprofit, Rise Up Queens, is to, let people know that healing is possible.
It is.
That we can talk about this, that there are ways to get out. Also, Shelly's brought about the open-mindedness about men also. Men
Yes.
are also victims or survivors of domestic or sexual assault. But silence is compliance, and ultimately the end result of a non-treated person or situation of domestic violence or sexual assault ends up in homicide. And in the fiscal year of 2020, there were at least 19 domestic violence homicides in West Virginia, with 75% committed with firearms. In 2019, West Virginia ranked 16th in the nation for the rate of women murdered by men. So, it's serious.
It is.
And silence is compliance. I've heard people say, there'll be a neighbor of a person that is right in that moment being assaulted.
Right.
And they won't pick up the phone and call 911. You can pick up the phone and make an anonymous call. And usually it's, that's none of my business.
Right.
Okay. Or it's not happening in my house.
Yes.
But here's the thing. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Right.
And if that person, succumbs to a homicide by this, violence, then, there's a point of accountability to the people that don't, make that phone call to 911 and say, hey, there's some type of disturbance going on next door, a couple houses down.
And some people just don't want to get involved, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, you could be saving someone's life.
Exactly.
I had an incident, this was a long time ago. I live in an apartment, said my neighbor was experiencing domestic abuse, and we kind of created a system that if she ever needed help, she would beat on the wall 3 times, you know what I'm saying? And one night I was woke up in the middle of the night, like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I heard them taps, you know what I'm saying? And I immediately knew what it was. But I could also hear stuff going on, like when it woke me. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm going to be honest, I carry a firearm, you know what I'm saying? I'm licensed to do so. I didn't choose to call the police because I didn't even know what was going on. But I did go with my firearm and knock on the door. She comes to the door and lets me know that her children's father had been beating on her, right? So he comes down the stairs, and I'm asking him, well, what's going on? I was like, why are you in here putting your hands on her, right? And he sees that my gun's out, right? Or whatever, and he just immediately takes off.
Wow.
And I said, don't come back over here with that, or whatever, because I've been through it, and I'm not about to witness my neighbor. And at the time, I didn't have a kid, but you know what I'm saying? Like, my heart went out to the, you know what I'm saying, the kids, you know what I'm saying? Being in that situation, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to be brave, you got to be bold, you know what I'm saying? And you got to be ready to help.
And we have to be on the, we have to be cautious. And when I say, you're part of the problem and not the solution if you don't do anything, I'm not saying go knock on that door. Actually, my experiences in this area are no, please do not go and knock on the door. Because you don't know what situation you're getting into. We just saw the statistics where women have been killed by a firearm. So we don't know if the person on the other side of that door. There's been situations in my experience working with families where you knock on the door and the abuser will take one of the children hostage with a firearm. So we don't want to encourage people to put themselves in life-threatening, situations. I don't know. I don't anymore, but years ago when I used to go clubbing, if anybody is used to going clubbing, and there's a fight between a man and a woman, and then a man jumps in and he socks the man, then the woman that was is mad at the guy that was trying to save her, and that's part of the cycle. That's part of the cycle.
So when you did your is it further education you get to do this, or I mean, do you have to have qualifications for
You don't.
training?
The only
I'm
qualification that I say that you would need is just be a human with the heart.
Exactly.
Passion to
That's
do
it.
Mhm.
You know, you don't necessarily have to be one that has walked in that shoe,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have a heart,
Mm-hmm.
if you have God involved, if you are involved with God, period, you know,
Yes.
it will. He will put it on your heart to say, you know what, I know this ain't right.
Yes. Yes.
It's love.
Yeah, amen.
Love.
Yes.
You know, in order to help someone, of course you have to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the things that people don't realize is when you're in those types of situations, what it does to that person.
Yes, that's true.
Because you start to look at yourself differently.
Uh-huh.
It takes a lot for a person, again, like you were talking about the church, you know, take them in.
Mm-hmm.
There might be somebody that shows up, you just
Right.
never know what another person's going through.
Almost definitely.
You know, give the love that you want somebody to give
back to
you.
Mhm. That's true.
You know, and so that's the biggest thing. That's the only qualification that I say that anybody needs.
Right.
You know,
So, like when you have to, I mean, that
no, you're
grant,
fine.
when you writing this grant, did you have to have a certain name or something you're doing to be, you know, 'cause you know how
So-
grants is hard to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They want
I-
to know. They want to know everything. You know what I'm saying?
So, if you want to start a nonprofit
Mm-hmm.
for something that you're passionate
Mm-hmm.
and enthused about, number one, that's the number one thing.
Right.
You know,
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
don't just strike up a nonprofit because you got on the bandwagon and
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Number one, your heart
Mhm.
and your passion
Yeah.
has to be in it.
Right.
There's no requirement for a degree
Right, okay.
to start up a nonprofit.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, you know, you can Google anything nowadays. So you
Right.
can Google it. It will give you the steps. And there's different types of nonprofits, you know. Some people go the faith-based nonprofit under a church.
Okay.
Some people, you know, it's a process. I'm not going to go into it because it takes a long time.
I understand.
And I've gotten away from that. But there's people that can help you get started, like getting an EIN number,
Right.
registering
Right.
with the state secretary. Now, as far as you said, you have to have a name in order to get a grant. Well, there's certain criteria. So
Right. That's what.
I believe you do have to be well, I don't think you necessarily have to be a nonprofit to apply for a grant.
Okay.
But grant writing and grant processing is a whole nother
That's
area.
another ballgame.
That's what someone.
But you said you have to have a name. So when you start your organization and you register with the state secretary, you're going to put the name of your organization
Right.
in there so that they can make sure that it's not duplicated.
Right.
So
But-
many, I'm just saying that, I mean, we look around in churches, and I'm not just singling out black churches. I'm
Right.
not.
Right.
But I'm saying, it's a way that, some kind of way that, you know, they have a lot of programs. A lot of programs.
Mhm.
Right.
None about this.
Right.
So I'm saying, what do it take to get into them churches? To say, hey, I got somebody gonna speak
Mhm.
and just talk about it.
That
Pass that
basically that's it. You want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's something that you truly believe in,
Right.
you know,
Understand.
there's absolutely nothing that can stop you,
Right.
especially when you put God in the midst.
That's right. That's
You know, so you just reach out, you talk about it. For instance, like I said, this is the very first thing I've ever done as far as event-wise go.
And she's doing great.
Good job. Good job.
You know, but this is the beginning. It's
Yes,
just getting ready
yes,
to start.
That's right. That's right.
You know, we'll talk about this every month. I want to be able to, excuse me, let me change my words because there's life and power in the tongue.
Amen.
So let me change that real quick.
Change
Let me
it.
change that real quick.
Go ahead.
Every month, I'm going to find a topic and we're going to do it.
That's good. That's good.
I want to be able to have book clubs.
Wow. That'd be
Mhm.
nice.
Like I read books.
Mhm.
You know, there's plenty of books out here for self-love, self-care,
Mhm.
self-help. things that you can help teach other women how to become a better you.
Right.
Build up your
self-esteem and
Exactly.
confidence.
And
Yes.
that's not just for the domestic violence.
Right, I understand.
You know, that's for anything and everything in general. You know, because if you want someone to be ignorant and to stay ignorant, you put it in a book.
That's right.
Don't nobody want to read no book. That takes
No.
too long. Or there's
Yeah.
a word, there's a couple words in the book that I don't understand.
Right.
Was Elaine just said, you can type everything into your phone now and look it up right then and there. So there's no excuses.
Right.
You know, I just want to be able to bring the community of women together to be able to do things.
Right.
Because after us, you know, there's still other young women, there are children, there are little girls that may not have, you know, a parent at home that's willing to stay home and not club or, you know, not be out here or whatever the situation may be. So it's up to us, and this is how I thought about it. It's up to me to be like, hey, like the awareness, hello, like we got to talk about it.
Right.
We have to be able to do it. Now, of course, this is not the only thing. Rise Up Queen is not the only thing out here. It's really not. You know, some people just need help.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and that's basically all it boils down to. And when you come with open arms,
Yes, that's right.
you can't be. You're not going to be denied.
No.
So that's where I'm at.
And for you to talk straight out, you know how somebody said, well, we got to have this long degree to be able to speak about this.
Right.
How do we take that out of content or whatever? But it's wonderful that God has given you that gift to be able to speak out. I don't have to speak another language. I can just speak English.
Right.
And that's, you know, just like they say when writing grants, it's like people write long stuff. And at
Right.
the end of the day, a lady I saw on Facebook, she was like, well, this is how you write a grant. But her thing was like easy. She said, sometimes we make it complicated for ourselves.
Right.
So we get scared and say, oh, God, you know, man, turn me down.
Just to write that easy
And but
proposal,
they
what
just
you
say,
want.
write out exactly what you want. That's all. It ain't
Right.
got to be no big words.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I
that's
took
good.
it. I started it with, you know, like I said, it's something that's been very true and dear to my heart for the longest time.
Oh,
And
praise God.
I had to stop and I had to look at myself, and I was like, you know what? We're going to do faith over fear
Wow.
instead of
Yes.
fear over faith.
Right.
Because for the longest time, I was that fear that was over the faith.
Yes, yes.
And so, like I said, at this point in juncture, I'm just like, you know what? Go for it.
Yes.
Go for it.
Yeah.
You really don't realize how many people that you really touch.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
you start this and I was like,
I'd like to add more to your question about, so how do we get this into the church?
Okay.
The parishioners get together with your church members and you know, one band, one sound, and you know, five voices you know, have more of an impact than one voice. And if it's something that you feel like you would like for you know, the church board or the pastor of the church along with the deacon boards to you know, bring something in the church, I would highly suggest that you get with your other parishioners and say, hey, what do you all think about this? And what about maybe a support group for women
Right.
where they'll feel safe to come and just sit and listen and you know, because sometimes people just need a place just to feel safe and just to you know, not have to think about anything, you know, just sit there and feel safe and have that quietness. And I, you know, I love church and I understand that, you know, church is built on, is home. It's built on the premises of bringing people to Christ, you know, and being saved. But there's more to human life than just being saved, you know. There's issues going on, you know. We have substance abuse, we have domestic violence, we have homelessness, we have hunger, we have poverty, we have mental health.
Right.
So I highly encourage members of your churches get together, you know, on some of the issues that you know you'd like to see addressed, and go to your heads of the of the church
Right.
and say, hey, we respect and understand that we bring, the word is to be brought to the people. But what do people do from Monday through Saturday?
Right.
That's right.
What do you do Monday through Saturday? Because that coming to Sunday, that one day, may be real wonderful for a person going through whatever they're going through.
Right.
That's right.
And they leave and they're lifted up and they feel good. And then, and I'm speaking from my personal experience, had a glorious day, got filled up. I've got some positive thinking going on, and then I go home,
Right back
and
to
I go home to the abuse,
Yep.
or I go home to, and this is a true life event. I go home and I'm cooking dinner, and I'm feeling real good, and I haven't used a substance in
Yep.
a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden there's a knock at the door.
Wow.
And I have no mental defense against
Right.
not opening that door and letting
Right.
that person come in.
Yeah.
And I spoke on that because being a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault tied in with my addiction.
Right.
Yeah.
I hadn't healed. I didn't know how to heal.
Yes.
And it was an escape.
And it was an
Yeah.
escape. It was escape from the pain. So it's all connected.
So what I'm just saying for inside, just getting wild stuff in my head, but thinking like this, something like this, could that be a letter sent out? I would say many churches I can. I would say that.
Okay.
Because I'm saying this because I'm saying it's going to go across the pastor's table.
Right.
Okay? They can make a decision on the other side, but they're not making the last.
Right.
So I'm saying, what if, it's just an if,
Mhm.
if you wrote up something like this or something that you can write to the churches. You can have one letter and make a copy of all the letters. See how many churches, just count how many churches you got all over. Out in Mount Hope, or where, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just
Right.
count how many churches. You don't have to do nothing but send it through the mail.
Send it
Right.
through the mail.
So they going to receive it. But
Right.
my thing is, who will react to it? That's what you want to see.
Those that are moved by truth and spirit,
Right.
Okay,
You
so
know,
you got to
if-
find that church though.
So you have to.
Some churches does. Some churches, a lot of churches does domestic violence. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's not out there,
Mhm.
and we don't see it.
Right.
But like they might put it in a little program, or they might
But
put
I-
it somewhere. But it is out there. 'Cause,
Right.
I
I
mean,
think some of that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Some of that goes to just because, October is domestic violence awareness.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
just stop in October.
exactly.
Right.
Like you still have 11 other months that's out here
Yeah.
that, we do it for the month of October and that's
Right.
it. Now this is something that needs to be discussed
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
Oh, yeah,
It's information that needs to be put out there. Because like I said, once you're in that situation, you don't realize that, that might be the only way. But if we only talk about it for
Yes.
31 days,
Yes.
Out the year?
A year.
that's not giving that person any confidence. That's not
Exactly.
giving anybody no hope.
Right.
Mhm.
So this is something that needs to be discussed 365 days out of the year.
Right.
Out of the year.
So does this program right here that anyone can come?
Yes, it's
Because
open to the public.
I haven't ever experienced, domestic violence.
Right.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But I have had friends that has
Right.
experience. You know what I'm saying? And when we were younger, it
Right.
doesn't matter what the age is.
Right.
Mhm.
So this right here can tell us it doesn't matter. It affects everybody. It doesn't matter what age, gender, race,
Right.
whatever. It affects everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, it is very open to the public.
It's free.
It is
That's
free.
good. That's good.
Like I said, it's flyers. I try to put out as many flyers as we possibly
That's
could.
good.
They're at your local gas stations.
Yeah.
Right.
Grocery store.
They're at the grocery store.
Bathroom.
So if you frequent one of these places, it's at hair shops.
Yeah.
Good.
It's the word is out there.
That's
Now,
good.
whether some people decided to put it up, I don't know. Technically, that's none of my business right there. But
You know
people
what you
know,
Right.
Yeah.
that
That's
the
good.
doors
That's
are
good.
open
Yeah.
for
That's
you.
good.
And again, it does say from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. on Sunday,
Mhm.
but it doesn't
Go
have to
longer.
end at 4:30.
That's right. Go
Mhm.
longer.
If
Right.
there's somebody that comes in that feels as though they just want to get it off their
Right.
chest,
Mhm.
we're still there.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Mhm.
good.
Like I said, I do have a therapist coming.
Right.
And it's also good for, like you said, not just, families and people who don't know, because like you said, people don't know, because it's that painted picture of everything is good over here.
Right.
I was young. I was 18 and my friend was getting just beat on. She
Yeah.
had a little girl. She was scared. She was staying with a friend
Yeah.
and everything else. So it was like, we're all a group. We're all friends. I'm intervening.
Mhm.
So, I'm like, getting me too. I'm like,
Beat down.
I had TV store. I had somebody who actually took a TV and threw it at his girlfriend. She had a baby in her arms, and she was standing by the window. He threw the TV at her, and I done hopped in front of the. So I done hopped in, so you won't hurt her.
Right.
But like you said, we had a plan.
Right.
Okay, well, if something's going on, you call me. I'll come get the kids.
Right.
Because she don't want to leave, but she don't want her kids around it.
Right.
Okay, well, I'll come get the kids. Or, when she comes, and like you said, it doesn't matter. Well, she's going to stay with him, because I've heard people say this before. Well, she's staying with him, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
cannot be done with that
Right.
person. You
Right.
can't, like you
Yeah.
said, it takes a total of 7 times.
Right.
People are scared. Some don't have no income, and some don't have nowhere to go.
Right.
And that's,
You
a lot of
like
times
I
the
said.
situation, depleted
Yeah.
financial resources.
Right.
So you kind of feel like you're stuck.
Yeah, and they're
Right.
stuck, or they'll go
They're
back. They're
stuck.
like, "Well, I don't have no money. I don't have this. I don't have that."
Right.
So they'll go back, and it's up to, like you said, because even in the community, a mother, a sister, they need to know the signs of abuse.
Right.
They need to say, "Okay,
Recognize
well,
it.
my sister has stopped calling
Right.
me," or they won't let the kids.
Or the
come
kids
over
ain't allowed to
anymore.
come
And a
around.
lot of times you'll
Yes.
call that person and they don't answer the phone, and then when they do
When they do.
finally, oh, I was busy.
Yeah.
Well, what was you doing?
Right.
Or that
Pop up.
person is gone.
Right.
Okay, your
Yeah.
user is gone. He
Yeah.
knows I can call and I can talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's the only
I
time
gotta
they call
go.
you,
Right.
that's
Make-
also
make
a
it
red
normal
flag.
to pop up at
Yes.
their doorstep.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're used to this routine right here with this person, and all of a sudden it just
Stops.
dwindles
Yeah.
down to nothing,
Yes.
pop up.
Right.
Hey, girl, I was coming to check on you
Right.
today.
What you
know,
doing?
Hey, open the door. I'm outside.
Right.
So make it normal to check on people.
Yeah.
Make it normal. And I remember, like, growing up, the community was, everybody looked out for everybody.
Right.
You
It takes a village.
It
Right.
takes a village.
Right.
But as time has passed on, that's not
That
the
village ain't
that's
there
not
anymore.
the instance anymore.
Right.
So that's what helps make domestic violence so hush hush.
Right.
So we have to, as a collective, we have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, recognize the signs.
Exactly.
Pop up at the door. Don't answer the phone for me. I don't care.
Right.
Exactly.
Hello.
Is
So
And
we
you
have
said,
to.
yeah, and you said take a village, to raise kids.
It definitely does.
What do it take to get a mom out of a bad situation?
Mm-hmm.
What does it
Exactly.
take? We can say,
It takes a lot.
It
Right.
takes a lot.
It does.
But she has to be a
Right.
strong woman.
Right.
That-
And she
have
has
God
to make up
first.
her mind as
Yeah,
well.
but she
Yeah.
has to
That
have
it
God
stops
first.
today.
God
And
first.
that's the biggest thing right there. That
Right.
you have to have it in your mind.
Mhm.
And personally, my own.
It's okay.
That's all right. It's okay.
As hard as all about it is.
It definitely
It's
is.
honestly, I can't lie.
I
It's
didn't play
triggering
this.
to me
It
as well.
is.
It
It
is.
definitely
Very
is.
hard. Very
You know,
hard.
it should never come to the point to where either I'm gonna kill you,
Yeah.
Right.
or you gonna
That's
kill
right.
me.
That's
You're
right.
right. You're right.
And when you have children involved,
Yes. Yes. It's major. That's major.
whole different ballgame.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have to learn how to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn how to have faith.
Yes. Yes.
You have to have it in your mind
Yes.
that
Made up.
enough
Made up. This is
is
enough.
enough.
Yes. Yes.
And it's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. A lot of people think that, oh, well, XYZ.
No.
No.
I know that.
You reach out for help.
Mm-hmm.
You might get 10 no's before you get that one yes.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's okay.
Wow.
Hence the reason why this is here and I'm doing the whole Rise Up Queen.
Okay.
Because again, this is just the beginning. People don't realize the mental,
Mm-hmm.
the emotional,
Right.
the spiritual.
Yes.
So that's why it is important to get with the churches.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it is important for the churches to say, hey,
I'll let you
congregation,
Yeah. I'll
we
let you
need
in.
your help.
I'll let you in.
We need your help. We don't need you to talk about what Sally Sue's going through. We need your help.
Right.
Right.
That's what I.
Open up the doors to the church. And if you know that this woman has children and this is the situation or whatever, open up the doors of the church and let them sleep on the pew.
Or put them up in a hotel.
Put them in a hotel. You know, help. Help.
Yeah.
Right.
So in order to get it started, somebody's got to talk about it.
Right.
Yes,
And
true.
we don't have to just it don't have to be churches. It can be anywhere.
It can
Right,
be anywhere.
right. Community.
It can be your community. Like you said,
Community.
it can be this right here. It can be just putting,
And men, how about men start checking your brothers,
Exactly.
your
Yes,
sons,
exactly.
your
Exactly.
uncles? And that's a conversation that men need to have as well.
Exactly.
About how
First
to
of all, I tell
manage.
her it's open to the communication.
It
Because
definitely.
some brothers and uncles, I mean, you can speak to them. Some are not aware.
Right.
Right.
Some are really not aware of what's going on.
Right.
You know, 'cause like I said, my friend, her brother thought everything was okay because when they came around, he didn't see what was going on.
Right.
But when he came around, hey, you know, everything is fine.
Yep.
Right. Speaking of men, so this event, this Sunday, 2:30 to 4:30 at 202
Park Avenue.
Park Avenue
Yes.
at the Women's Club. There's plenty of parking. It is free. There will be light refreshments. It's family friendly, and it's open to men and women. Because
Yes.
one thing that we don't talk about when it comes to domestic violence awareness is that the men need help too.
Exactly.
A lot of
They need to seek
the
help.
abusers, what happens is they almost have what's called an antisocial personality.
Right.
Okay, and for years before my training, I thought antisocial meant like, you know,
Stay away.
Stay away.
Right.
But an antisocial personality person is very charismatic and they're very charming, and they will win that person over.
Yes.
And they'll appear to be that charismatic, great person at work, and so people won't even, you know,
Yes.
No,
Yes.
right.
That
that
person's that way.
that
Right.
person's that way. But we also have to address the fact that the people that are the abusers need help.
Exactly.
You know, and they
Yes.
deserve, and they do. They deserve help because we don't know
If they were
where
a product of this
that
happening,
they
while they
are
were
a product
yes,
of
they're-
their environment. Maybe they grew up with that being
and never
normal.
got
And
that's
never
trauma on
got
their
the
part.
help.
Yes.
Then
You
send
know,
them
they
the
need to
help
do
on
it.
and say,
Right.
we're getting help for you.
Yeah.
But we
That's
also
that
still
pride.
exactly, and we have to make it. We have to normalize the fact that if you need help, it's okay.
Right.
That's
It's
right.
okay.
And
Okay.
they, like you said, that goes for men as well. You know, because it starts at home.
Yes, yes, that's right.
And so you don't know what that man went through as a child,
Right.
whether they were sexually abused
Right.
or whether they were physically abused.
Yes.
You know, whether mom and or dad, you know, belittled
Both of
them.
Right.
Or even with the verbal abuse.
The verbal,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I
we
mean,
don't know,
yeah.
you know,
That
what
even
helps.
yeah, even a man can be abused.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That
There
lashing can be worse
there
sometimes
is-
than anything.
Oh, she traveled over. It's great.
I got you some facts.
Uh-oh.
36% of men
They will not say
in West Virginia have experienced themselves. We're not talking about the women now. We're
Yeah,
talking about the men.
yeah.
Have experienced intimate partner violence in their lifetime.
I'm sure.
36% of men. But if we walk around and we look at men, you wouldn't think nothing was wrong. Same as women.
Yeah.
You think nothing's wrong. But somewhere along that line, they are verbally abused. They are physically abused.
Yeah.
Financially abused.
Yes, that's right.
Sexually abused, but
Right.
we don't know it because we've been so quiet and it's so taboo. We don't, as a man,
That's right.
Yes.
the
That's my
ego.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, how am I
Yes,
supposed to
yes,
come out and talk
yes.
about the fact that I was sexually abused from the age of 6 to
Yeah.
10? You know, that's something we don't talk about. And so, in order to get our women and our men back on track, we have to open up the doors of
Yes.
safety.
Yes, that's right. Say.
And so we have to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that men as well
Yes,
can feel safe with telling us
that's right.
or just talking about it in general. They don't want their children to go through it, but keeping it bottled up
Is it a male?
messes with your
Is it a-
emotions.
Do a male, like say, come in with you and say, "Well, hey, I've been abused. I want to talk about it." A male person, you know how
They
men are
can.
men one on one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know how they do. They're like,
Right.
"No, I can't tell her."
Yeah, but
Well, actually,
and they
as
can
a-
talk about it.
Actually, as a peer recovery support specialist when I meet with clients or my patients one-on-one.
Okay.
I have had experiences where, you know, once the trust is established in that, you know, professional client relationship, I have had males open up to me and talk about, you know, their history of sexual abuse as a child, and even verbal abuse from, you know, from their partners. You know, they're trying to do their best. You know, they're looking for work and they haven't found work, and then they come home and then the partner verbally abuses them by, well, you're a man. You know, you should be able to go out and get a job and provide. You know, and the man is really trying to do his best. So, we don't want to, you know, just label domestic violence and sexual assault to one gender,
Right.
Because you know we're talking about all parties involved. We're talking about the males who are either victims and or survivors themselves, who need help. Who needs mental, spiritual help, and the same with the women, and then naturally the children.
Right.
You know, but it requires help. It's not a geographical cure. You can't take the person out of the abusive environment, move them, and think that everything's okay. There's a lot of education that goes with this.
Right.
Like you know, when you're picking your mate, you know, signs and what not to look for. I know myself as a survivor. I was a baby with the baby, so I was 15 years old with the baby, and my partner was abusive for years, and so there was all that. You know, I can't make it financially. You know, what am I going to do? You have that fantasy idea of, you know, wanting to keep the perfect family, young. So, you know, at that time, I could have really benefited from some counseling. You know, absolutely. Being informed of, you know, the signs, and the help that's available out there. So.
Can you tell us again about what's going to happen on Sunday?
Yes. So this Sunday, October the 5th at 2:30 starting, I've put together for a No Longer Suffering in Silence domestic violence awareness. So it doesn't matter if you're a man, if you're a woman, bring your children with you. Even if you need a ride, you message me on Facebook. If you got the Instagram, you know, let us know. We will do everything possible to get you there. Even if you don't want to share your story, that's perfectly fine. But I will have some resources there for you to help you with counseling services. If you need services on where to find a shelter, we will have that available for you as well. And also, we will be able to help you with coming along mentally and spiritually. So if you have nothing to do on Sunday, this Sunday, October the 5th, starting at 2:30, please feel free to come out to 202 Park Avenue, the Women's Club. We'll be there and hope to see you there.
Right. Okay. We also want to mention Culture Tees and TSK presents Iron Sharpens Iron Men's Group, and that will be tomorrow, October 4th, on Saturday at 9 a.m. right here at 345 Prince Street, guys.
And they may talk about
it. And we want to give a heartfelt thank you to you ladies sharing these, you know, and just being so open with, I mean, because this is traumatic stuff we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And we really appreciate y'all being here and sharing these stories and the insights, and I hope that this inspires at least one person to get out of an abusive situation. You know, protect your babies, guys. Okay. And before we close out or whatever, I'd like to remind you of some exciting opportunities happening through the Summit Collective. Our Lit Go Lab program is expanding, bringing engaging literacy and enrichment directly into neighborhoods and schools for children to discover the joy and power of reading. Along Lit Lab Go, we also continue to offer impactful programs like Elevate You, The Bond, Collective Foundations, The Root, which are all designed to support youth, families, and our growing community. To learn more about these upcoming programs and to stay connected, you can visit us online at www.thesummitcollective.org. And on behalf of our entire team, we thank you for joining Collective Conversations. You guys have a blessed afternoon. And we remind you to like us on Facebook, X, and Instagram.